My husband's sister secretly modified the digital layouts for my independent children's clothing brand debut to get my store launch banned. There is a challenging moment of absolute stillness that happens when you realize the person trying to disrupt your professional future isn't a market competitor, but your own husband's sister sharing your living space. For the past 18 months, as a working mother trying to build a secure career for my 4-year-old daughter, I invested every spare ounce of my personal time. I worked through late nights and early mornings, designing a premium, organic, independent children's clothing brand from scratch. My debut collection was completely finalized. The production pipeline was secured, and my digital storefront was scheduled to launch on a major global e-commerce host tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But 3 hours ago, during a final administrative system check, my automated pre-launch compliance scanner flagged a critical layout violation error. My heart completely stopped. My original hand-drawn vector print layouts and verified textile supply certifications had been systematically replaced with unverified, generic internet graphics and incorrect trademark tags. If that launch went live, the hosting platform's automated system filters would have permanently banned my identity, blacklisted my business entity, and erased my hard work in a fraction of a second. My sister-in-law, Sylvia, assumed her hidden digital changes would pass completely undetected, entirely forgetting that a modern mother who designs her own cloud infrastructure keeps an absolute clear audit trail of every single pixel. My name is Harper, and at 30 years old, my focus is centered around my family, my 4-year-old daughter, Lily, and the independent children's clothing brand I have spent the last 1.5 years building from the ground up. Before transitioning into independent entrepreneurship, I worked for nearly a decade as a graphic layout designer. When Lily was born with highly sensitive skin, I struggled to find premium, comfortable, and genuinely organic clothing options that were gentle on her skin. That challenge sparked an intense creative ambition within me. I decided to leverage my design background to create a sustainable, ethically sourced children's apparel line called Lily and Bloom. Building a premium brand independently requires an incredible level of dedication. I didn't just pick templates from a catalog. I spent thousands of hours sketching original playful vector illustrations, testing textile samples with verified organic certifications, and engineering an optimized digital storefront. Every single piece of metadata, every clothing layout, and every merchant routing code was crafted by me. By June 2025, my complete debut collection was safely uploaded to the e-commerce cloud repository, completely prepared for our highly anticipated public launch. While my professional project was a masterclass in meticulous organization, my domestic environment was quite tense due to a temporary family arrangement. 8 months ago, my husband's younger sister, Sylvia, moved into our guest bedroom after facing some career setbacks in administrative work. Sylvia was 26, struggled with finding her career path, and harbored a visible, passive-aggressive resentment toward my structured work ethic. Whenever I was at my workstation analyzing supply chain metrics or adjusting layout resolutions, Sylvia would walk past the doorway, offering a dismissive sigh. "I just don't understand why you spend so much time staring at digital clothing layouts, Harper," she would comment. "It must be nice to just sit at home all day working on a creative project while the rest of the world deals with standard corporate routines." My husband, trying to keep the peace, constantly asked me to overlook her negative attitude. I quietly tolerated her presence and focused entirely on my upcoming launch, believing that my professional digital workspace was completely secure. I had no idea how far her resentment truly reached. The first subtle indication that something was moving behind the scenes of my digital infrastructure didn't manifest as an obvious error message. It appeared as an unauthorized session synchronization. On June 3rd, 2025, while I was preparing Lily's dinner in the kitchen, my primary smartphone flashed a brief, automated notification from my cloud hosting provider. Secondary device session initialized via local network mirror. Assuming it was simply my design tablet automatically syncing a heavy background file system update over our home Wi-Fi network, I cleared the alert from my screen, intending to review my security settings later that evening. With the overwhelming pressure of organizing marketing outreach campaigns and double-checking our final textile shipments, the minor notification slipped my mind completely. During that identical time frame, Sylvia's behavior transitioned from overt bitterness into an uncharacteristic, highly unsettling politeness. She suddenly volunteered to organize the living area, made polite conversation about my target audience, and even asked precise questions about the e-commerce platform's security compliance protocols. So, Harper, Sylvia asked casually one evening while pouring herself a glass of water, her eyes carefully tracking my laptop screen. Is it true that those big e-commerce hosting platforms have automated security systems that instantly shut down a store if there's any copycat design or copyright issue? A friend of mine told me their automated systems are completely strict. Yes, the automated compliance systems are completely unyielding, I answered, keeping my focus on my design interface. If a storefront matches a pre-existing copyrighted database or uses unverified trademark metadata, the platform issues an immediate automated identity ban. There's no lengthy human review loop. They just blacklist the business entity instantly to protect themselves from legal liabilities. Sylvia offered a slow, tight nod, her expression completely blank. Wow, that sounds incredibly severe. One little mistake and everything is gone, she murmured, turning away. I dismissed the strange interaction, attributing it to her lack of fundamental e-commerce knowledge. I returned to my study, completely blind to the fact that my detailed explanation of the platform's automated defenses was being actively used against me. The absolute breaking point occurred this afternoon, June 11th, 2025, less than 24 hours before my digital storefront was scheduled to go live to the public. I sat down at my workstation to run my final, mandatory pre-launch administrative compliance suite. This routine scan evaluates every single digital asset, vector file, and product layout against the hosting platform's global database to guarantee a flawless, high-performance launch. I clicked the execution button, expecting a clean green status indicator. Instead, my monitor flashed a blazing, dark amber critical error code. Launch restricted, multiple red flags for system inconsistency and intellectual property violations. A cold sweat immediately broke out across my neck. I bypassed the standard user interface dashboard, entered my root administrative console, and dove directly into the core asset repository of the debut clothing collection. What I discovered left me completely breathless with shock. My original, custom-designed vector fabric patterns, the whimsical, hand-drawn floral layouts I had spent months refining, had been entirely deleted from the master server. In their place, someone had uploaded low-resolution, heavily watermarked graphics taken directly from a cheap, public wholesale clothing website. Furthermore, the verified organic material certificates I had secured from my suppliers had been replaced with forged, unverified files containing mismatched trademark tags. If I had not run this final manual audit, the automated system would have registered these plagiarized files tomorrow morning, triggering an irreversible, permanent brand ban for intellectual property infringement. My heart pounded as I pulled up the system access log history. Every single file substitution had been executed during the shared network session flagged on June 3rd. The device signature and MAC address belonged directly to Sylvia's personal tablet. She had bypassed my workspace security while I was away from my desk, purposefully substituting fraudulent files to ensure my brand debut would be completely blacklisted. I sat in the quiet of my study, looking at the digital audit logs displaying my sister-in-law's clear device signature attached to the compromised files. The sense of betrayal was deep, but I refused to lose my composure or react with an unprofessional confrontation. A chaotic argument would only allow her to deny the technical facts or look for excuses within the family. I spent the next 2 hours gathering clear, indisputable documentation. I downloaded the historical file synchronization logs, the hardware MAC address verification showing her device signature, the dynamic IP mapping of our home network, and the official confirmation from the e-commerce platform detailing the exact moment the original vector files were deleted and swapped. At 6:40 p.m., I walked downstairs into the main living room. Sylvia was sitting on the couch, calmly scrolling through her phone, while my husband and his parents, who had come over to celebrate the eve of my launch, were sitting together talking. I walked directly to the center of the room, placed my laptop on the coffee table, and flipped the screen toward them, displaying the complete digital audit trail. Sylvia, I said, my voice completely level, calm, and precise. You have exactly 1 hour to log out of any mirrored network sessions you have connected to my design database. Pack your things and leave this house. If you do not, this complete digital fraud file will be submitted directly to the platform's legal compliance division and regional authorities. Sylvia's relaxed posture instantly vanished. She froze, her face turning an immediate ash gray as she looked toward the family for support. Harper, what on earth is going on? My husband asked, standing up in confusion. Why are you making these serious accusations against Sylvia right before your big launch? Look at the system log screen, I said, pointing directly to the data stream. Sylvia accessed my master brand repository using a mirrored device token. She intentionally deleted my original fabric designs and replaced them with copyrighted public graphics to trigger an automated platform ban on my business license tomorrow morning. The room became completely quiet as the technical data displayed on the screen made the situation undeniable. My mother-in-law, realizing the reality of the situation, immediately attempted to step in to protect her daughter using emotional appeals. "Harper, please, let's keep our tempers under control," she pleaded, reaching out toward the laptop. "Sylvia must have just made a mistake or gotten confused while trying to look at your beautiful work. She is family, and she's been going through a very stressful career transition. If you report this or force her out, it will damage her future permanently. We are a family, and your business is already going to be so successful. Let's just restore your original files and move past this." Sylvia nodded quickly, hiding behind her mother's shoulder. "Exactly, Harper. I was just looking at the layouts because I wanted to see how the system worked. I didn't know changing the files would cause such a major problem. You're being completely ungenerous and unfair about a simple misunderstanding." I looked at them, maintaining absolute professional boundaries. In their family dynamic, a deliberate attempt to sabotage 18 months of my career was labeled a simple misunderstanding, while my defense of my professional livelihood was called ungenerous. "This is a deliberate breach of data security and a direct attempt to undermine my independent business," I stated, keeping my voice completely calm and resolute. "I invested my personal savings, my professional reputation, and months of hard work into this brand for my daughter's future. I will not compromise the safety of my business entity for someone who intentionally tried to destroy it." I turned to my husband, who was looking at the logs in quiet realization of his sister's actions. "The timeline stands. Sylvia leaves this household tonight, and her access to our shared network is revoked permanently. My professional boundaries are non-negotiable. It has been 3 weeks since the digital audit logs exposed the truth, and my independent brand has achieved complete security and incredible initial success." Faced with the clear technical data and the reality of legal compliance reports, Sylvia packed her belongings and moved out that very evening. My husband fully supported my decision once he reviewed the digital evidence, recognizing that protecting our family's economic future and professional boundaries was the absolute priority. Yesterday morning, Lillian Bloom celebrated its official launch milestone. Because I caught the file substitutions in time, I was able to restore my original, certified vector layouts and launch without a single compliance error. The collection has already generated thousands of dollars in initial digital sales, with high retention engagement across all our social media storefronts. My brand is completely secure. Our household is peaceful, and the system is now fully protected with advanced single-user biometric encryption. Keys-enabled individuals often operate under the assumption that your silence or your desire to avoid uncomfortable family situations will allow them to disrupt your hard work without consequence, but they completely miscalculate the strength of an independent creator who knows how to protect her professional assets. I'm moving forward with absolute confidence, writing the story of my business future successfully, safely, and entirely on my own terms.